to really pay attention, you know. So
when I saw this, I started to ask the question. I think a lot of people in the West are asking this question of Asia generally. Do you think Asia is embracing concerns about the carbon footprint and the emissions issues? Clearly your company is, but generally, are your rivals getting into that space as well?
Well, I think for a few Asian countries, particularly like Japan, is very much paying attention to that, and same as Taiwan, because Taiwan is a, you know, compared to Australia, we are small countries.
Yeah, we've noticed that. You are small.
And we have a very much limited resources, and we gradually understand that for those economics development we have made over the past few years, actually there's a hot cost hidden to that. So, you know, in terms of the waters, in terms of the, you know, the waste recycling and so on, actually nothing is free. So we know that, so that's why we actually choose the most severe standards in the so-called green manufacturing standards from the United States to satisfy our one of the first we so-called generation 8.5 manufacturing fab in Taiwan back to March this year. So the entire, you know, certification process is very tough. They set up very, very tough standards to that.
So it seems to me that, I guess the key question is, what are your rivals doing? Are you ahead of, I would figure your rivals are Apple and Dell and all those, they are your rivals, aren't they?
To a certain degree, yes, maybe yes, maybe no.
Okay, because computer screens, they certainly have computer screens.
Sure.
So are you ahead of them in terms of better green production?
Well, I think in some area we're apart, right? For instance, that the 2 days back we launched, you know, the full series so-called LED display. The entire materials actually is coming from recycled plastics, and we are the world's first vendor adopting that technology in our entire manufacturing process.
So in a sense, in your space, you're a bit like what Toyota has done with the Prius and the other hybrid vehicles. You are actually trying to be a market trendsetter in terms of green production.
You can say that. Actually, in different industries, there are a few pioneers or leaders in the so-called green manufacturing, you know, that process. So many of the products you mentioned about the automobile industry, or in our industry, IT, traditionally, you know, there are a lot of the kind of the, you know, pollution process. So over the past few years, gradually, we really invest a lot in that so-called green manufacturing process. Initially, it costs money, but we believe that in the long term, we are going to save a lot of money to the earth.
Okay.
Yeah.
How has BenQ coped with the global financial crisis?
All right. This is a very good and interesting questions. Luckily, that currently our primary business at the moment is focusing on Asia Pacific and Greater China area. These two regions contribute around 70% of our entire group company's revenue. And other than that, Europe and Latin America contribute another 25% or more. So America actually at the moment is insignificant in our entire revenue portfolio. So our the financial crisis impact on our companies at the moment is in the minimum level.
Okay, and I guess you're implying that China and Asia generally has come through the global financial crisis a lot better than Europe and America, and therefore that's put a foundation under your company?
Yes, there are, you know, in this region, there are a few of the so-called emerging markets, like India, for instance, currently is contributing a very large portion in our company portfolios. There are a few other Southeast Asian countries like Indonesia, Vietnam, and so on. And China definitely is one of the, you know, rising powers in these regions. So these countries, while they are developing their domestic economics, they are also increasing their domestic consumptions. So they contribute a lot into our company progress in this year particularly.
Okay, so if people are saying to themselves, well, what kinds of products does BenQ put into the Australian market? Can you talk us through some of the products and where we would see them?
Sure. First of all, I think that we are one of the leaders, suppliers in terms of the display products. The display product including LCD display, monitor, and then LED display, and also the projector. As a matter of fact, that we are world's top 3 projector brand in the market for projector. In Asia Pacific, we are number 2. And this includes Japan, and especially in the short throw projectors, which is perfect design for education purpose. We are number 1 in that category at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your outlook for the Asian region? 70% of your business comes from that region. What's the outlook for the next 12 months?
Well, I think the Asian's economics will continue to recover ahead of the other region, particularly compared to the America. So I think many of the Asian countries, they have to think about changing their roles. Instead of just, very much export-oriented, they have to really build up their domestic infrastructures, increase their domestic consumptions, and really play a role, very, very vital roles in entire global economics recoveries. And BenQ as a company would like to participate in that process.
Well, thanks very much, Adrian, for joining us on my program.
Thank you very much, Peter.
And good luck in the future.
Thank you.
Okay.